This is the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K, and I think it might be the best camera that Blackmagic has ever made. Now, to get to the bottom of why I feel that way, we need to go back a few years. All the way back, in fact, to the great year of 2012. In 2012, life was good. I just graduated high school. The Mayans had incorrectly predicted the end of the world, lucky us. Call Me Maybe was at the top of the Hot 100, and a little-known Australian camera manufacturer had just released a Micro Four Thirds camera that could shoot cinema DNG in 2.5K, all for under $3,000 US. It would become my first cinema camera. Notice the camera on my shoulder in my profile picture? You guessed it, the Cinema Camera 2.5K. Up until that point, I had been shooting on the Canon 5D Mark II. A legend, yes, but by no means a true cinema camera. I was stumped as to why my lenses were so much more cropped in on the Blackmagic. I didn't have a clue what cinema DNG was. I knew that RAW was good, and I of course had to be shooting in it, but the image was so flat and difficult to color grade. Simply put, I had a lot to learn, and that's what the Cinema Camera 2.5K did for me. It taught me how to tell visual stories and the importance of slowing down and embracing the process of filmmaking. And I think that's truly the ethos of Blackmagic as a company. They exist to place cinema quality cameras in the hands of those who would otherwise never have the opportunity. And I think that's something that's really special. Now, don't worry, I'm not in any way suggesting that my nostalgia for the brand automatically makes this new camera great. It certainly doesn't. And frankly, it doesn't need the help. It's that damn good on its own. Let's start with the obvious star of the show, the new 24x36mm 6K full frame sensor. That's 3 times the surface area of the Super 35mm sensor in the 6K Pro. And you have the opportunity to shoot in open gate mode, taking advantage of every single millimeter. All of that paired with Blackmagic's color science, an OLPF, and a new L mount that lets me use my Leica glass. Simply put, it's probably the best image I've ever experienced on any camera. I've always loved the way these cameras render color and depth. Even with such a high resolution, full frame sensor, the image feels organic and pleasing. It doesn't suffer from the digital edge that can plague many modern mirrorless cameras. So, if you were looking for the absolute best image quality you can get from a camera under $3,000, close the video. You don't need to keep watching it. This is it. But no camera is perfect, and the 6K full frame is no exception. I'm going to talk about a few of my likes and dislikes. Let's get into it. The battery life, while massively improved from my original Pocket 6K, is still mediocre at best when used with just the internal battery. Blackmagic did, however, send me the battery grip to test as well, and this is where I was pleasantly surprised. I initially thought it made the camera awkward and heavy, but after using it for a day, I found myself really enjoying it. For someone with large hands like myself, the battery grip extends the surface of the grip and just feels great in the hands. I was also able to get up to 4 hours of shooting in open gate 6K. This was not only a surprise for me, but made me feel like I could truly use this camera without any rigging, which is really a game changer. Now, it'll never be as light and portable as a modern mirrorless camera, but for a daily cinema camera that you can take with you everywhere, this setup was really usable. There is no autofocus. Yes, technically the camera can perform a singular autofocus with modern lenses, but I promise you'll never use that feature. And continuous? Forget about it. Now, do I care? Not even a little bit. I'm not buying this camera for its autofocus, speed, and ease of use. With the opportunity to adapt numerous vintage lenses, flexibility in color grading and post, much like the original 2.5K, this camera is really about slowing down and being a filmmaker. So this might be exactly what you're looking for, or it could be a deal breaker. You can only shoot in B-RAW. Again, not a problem for me, as I'm using a camera like this specifically to have the ability to shoot RAW internally and have that flexibility in post, but I know a lot of people like having ProRes as an option for workflows that might demand that codec specifically. Maybe this is something that Blackmagic can add with firmware later, but for now, you won't find it here. Speaking of flexibility in post, the camera offers the ability for you to stabilize your footage in post using its gyro data. While not as reliable as, say, Panasonic's incredible IBIS system, this workflow is incredibly seamless and gives your footage a very natural-looking stabilization. The screen is amazing. It's bright, accurate, and the ability to articulate completely eliminates my need for an external monitor. Blackmagic also has the best menu OS in the game, hands down. Would I still rig this camera out under certain circumstances so I can have a V-mount battery and follow focus? Yes. Would I ever use a monitor with this camera? No, it's simply that good. False color, LUT preview, both with the touch of a button, check and check. These options are something I've grown used to within the Blackmagic ecosystem. They're absolute must for my workflow, and this 6K full frame continues to deliver. Lastly, the body. It's the familiar carbon fiber polycarbonate composite that Blackmagic uses across all of their cameras. Do I wish it was a little bit more premium feeling? Of course, but it's still light, strong, and comfortable in the hand, especially with the additional battery grip. The buttons are well laid out, purposeful, and easy to operate. If you like their pocket cameras, this will feel right at home in your hand. So, the ultimate question, would I buy this camera? And I can honestly say yes. Not only does it eliminate many of my biggest issues with my original Pocket 6K, but you aren't getting this many features with an image of this quality anywhere else for anywhere near this price point. This camera is a worthy continuation of Blackmagic's mission to put cinema cameras into the hands of filmmakers. And I can't wait to see what we all create with this. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of Blackmagic's new releases? See you in the next one. Cheers.